The body flew that far from the impact?
I mean, yeah, truck versus bicyclist.
Hi, where is he? Where is he right now? Come here.
He's not even arrested.
You have your weapon on you? Once the officer comes to talk
I don't
to
know
you?
what's going on.
I didn't know what it was until I saw the body, and then I realized there was somebody on the bike.
Okay.
Where was the person on the bicycle at?
At this point, we are going to take your blood with or without your consent because you're involved in a crash that involved.
All right, where did this guy get struck?
Help you.
Hi guys, welcome back to Driver Defense Team. We are watching a video that neither one of us have seen, and this video was actually referred to me by my golf coach Kevin, who's a big fan, so thank you.
Kevin, how's she doing? Got that swing down?
Yeah, working on the swing every 2 weeks. We are watching what looks to be a very serious and somber video today. The title is Drunk Man Doesn't Realize He Just Ended Someone's Life. As we watch this video, we are going to tell you what we think the players are doing right and wrong, and we hope you do the same in the comments.
Maybe that's all right, let me know.
Delta 297 with the suspect. Hi, where is he?
He swerved here.
Where is he right now?
Where
Where is the car?
The QX80, the blue one that just got smacked left side.
This one? Okay. Do me a favor, stand by. Let me contact with them, and the officers are on the way, okay? Come here. Hello? How are you doing?
All right.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Do you need any medical attention?
No.
Okay, do you have your ID on you, sir? I'll be with you in a second, okay? Is that your vehicle, the blue
Yeah.
Infinity? Do you have your weapon on you?
No.
This is your CCW, okay? Oh,
Yeah.
driver's license right there. Okay, got this. Thank you. Oh, don't.
Sorry.
You okay? Here.
I'm,
Don't fall. I'm gonna sit you in my vehicle so you don't fall, okay? Okay, I'm gonna sit you in my vehicle with AC, okay? You're not in handcuffs or anything.
What'd she say? You're not in handcuffs?
You're not in handcuffs or anything, yeah. For those of you watching at home, the officer is going out of her way to say you're not under arrest right now,
Yeah.
right? Because obviously being under arrest triggers some constitutional rights and things that are not applied here yet, that the officer doesn't want applied here yet, right? It's very much still in the investigation phase and not an arrest yet.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw the title of this video. I think the officer is aware how serious this is. A smart officer realizes that have a body-worn camera on, that everything's being audio and video recorded, and use it to their advantage. So just saying little stuff like that, it's just, for you to relax. It's just so that you don't fall, you're not under arrest. That's,
Right.
All thinking about maybe a potential argument that she detained him at this time.
Yep. Which, the argument then further is she doesn't have enough to truly detain him or arrest him at this time. So she's making it clear that that is not what she is doing.
Right.
An officer's gonna come talk to you about it. I'm just standing by. I guess there was an accident. So I'm just waiting for them, okay? The reason I saw you is because I didn't want you to fall. Okay? You need medics? Okay. Pardon?
I get a lawyer.
Okay, I hear you. I'm not asking you any questions or anything, okay? Once the officer comes to talk
I
to
don't
you...
know what's going on.
Okay. They'll explain everything. Like I said, I'm just standing by until the officer gets here.
Thank you.
And then he'll explain everything, okay?
He doesn't have the right to an attorney at this time. He's not even arrested. They're literally just sitting him there while they further their investigation. I would assume field sobriety tests are coming.
Yeah, I mean, I said I don't know what 15 minutes has gone by. Probably medical, right? I mean, they had an ambulance, there's a,
when there's a death, so many people have to come out.
Right.
Photos have to be taken. An accident reconstruction specialist should be coming out.
For sure. Yep. And then this DUI investigation will begin in earnest.
All right, where did this guy get struck?
Up here. That's where he's up at. As of right now, I don't have anybody who saw the accident. I have a witness who said that he saw the body.
So that's the driver of the car?
No, the driver of the
Or,
car.
well, that's the car that hit him, or no?
That's just a witness.
That's a witness. So the driver, I'm guessing, is the one that's all the way
At
up
the
on
other flashing lights, yep.
Okay. So this is a witness. This guy got hit.
Yep.
Somewhere actually back here.
He can't. He can't confirm or deny if the bike was traveling east or west. So like if he got clipped, but he just saw the body flying.
But he's
in the air.
saying it was about here, give or take, anyway.
Yep.
The body flew that far from the impact.
I mean, yeah, truck versus bicyclist is no good.
It also doesn't seem like he stopped right away, right?
I don't know. I mean, his reaction time may not have been great.
Alrighty, sir. Thank you so much for hanging around. You okay?
Yep.
Okay. So I have my THI unit coming out. I'll find out from you what happened. Be able to tell him what's going on, and then we'll probably be able to release you. Okay? Can you tell me what happened?
I'm just driving behind a BMW, and the car in front of him was a black car. I don't know what vehicle it was. I saw debris fly up. I didn't know what it was. And the car behind him swerved, and I look over and I seen him. I thought it was just debris. I look over, he was face down. I pulled over immediately, ran over to him, and called EMS. That was it. I didn't know what it was until I saw the body, and then I realized it was somebody on the bike.
Okay. What color car was it?
Black.
Was that BMW that you was talking about, or the black?
The BMW was behind the one that hit it. It was a black SUV.
So you don't know if he was traveling eastbound or if he was traveling
this
westbound.
way.
So he was coming towards traffic.
I believe so.
At this point, I'm going to take a sworn tape statement from you. Swear that what you're going to tell me is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You were coerced in any way? No. Mr. King, what lane were you in? Do you remember?
I was not in the far right. I was in the lane just to the left of the far right lane.
Okay.
I saw the blue SUV.
He's saying blue.
There was a few cars ahead of me. I also saw what I thought was a bicycler, and this blue SUV swerved and hit him. Thought it was kind of odd that he swerved towards the bike lane.
Then he struck the cyclist, which you observed.
Yes.
What did he do after he made impact with the cyclist?
And he kept going.
Okay.
I remember saying to myself, why isn't he stopping?
Okay. What did you do when he wasn't stopping?
At that point, I grabbed my phone. I was panicking. I'm trying to get 911 on the line. I mean, it wasn't like he was speeding off away from me or anything. He just kept going. So I started to pull up next to him as I had 911 on the phone. I was side by side of this guy, again in the middle lane. I rolled down my window. I think I was honking my horn, and I, was signaling to him,
To pull over? Okay.
And he actually pulled over, started walking towards me, and he goes, "What did I do wrong? What did I do?" And I said, "You just hit somebody." And then we just kind of stood there. I still had 911 on the phone, and I was letting him know that, he pulled over. He's here. He's pulled over. Can you get somebody over here? Started to actually walk back to the car.
He was the only person that was in the vehicle?
I didn't see anybody else behind the wheel.
Okay, and what did he look like?
It looked like he had shorter hair.
White male, black male?
He was a white male.
Okay.
Leading. Objection.
I know you're joking, but I mean, the officer's doing a pretty good job here, I think.
Very good.
Yeah,
He should have gone to law school. This is a good direct examination.
It is. He's doing a good job. This officer's learned it probably by being on the stand.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
One thing that I think is very interesting, like if you put yourself in this witness's shoes, kind of like what would you do, right? Like your adrenaline's rushing. It's like a fight or flight type of thing. Your brain is first like, did that just happen? Did I just see like a person get hit? And then it's like, do you pull over immediately and give, what would you call it? Like CPR and stuff, like try and help that person? Or are you thinking like, I can't let this defendant get away? Are you, it's just like.
It's a tough position to be in, that's for sure.
Your instincts just kind of kick in, and he said he was almost on autopilot. Like I just called 911 and kept following him, and and thank God he did, and said pull over, because another reason or another thing that might be going on in your mind is safety. Like if you don't have any, maybe care for somebody else, you just hit them and you keep going. Could that person be dangerous to you? And you're like, do I want to get involved?
Am I even is this person now in the road? Should I have stopped and try to help? Like, you're second guessing. It's a tough spot to be in.
That's good on this guy.
Yeah, so far, pretty good witness. And this officer's tactic of having him swear under oath, which is not, is he's got a pretty good witness here. Next, though, I expect the officer, if this guy doesn't just come out and say it, officer's going to ask him about some clues of impairment, what this guy witnessed immediately after the accident.
And I wonder too if he's going to lay a foundation, like, have you ever witnessed a drunk person? How many times?
That would be impressive by this officer.
Yeah.
That would be impressive. Let's see.
He might have said that. I don't recall. I do know he did say, what did he said, what did I do, is what he said.
Okay, so you pulled into the McDonald's. He got out.
And he was kind of a little wobbly on his feet.
Okay. Wobbly how?
Just not walking straight.
Okay, like stumbling?
Yeah, I guess you could say that, yes.
Okay. What did he do after he was outside of the vehicle?
He kind of stood. I told him, stand right here. I had 911 on the call, and they were asking to kind of describe him, and they asked what his approximate age, and I actually just asked him, what's your age? How old are you? And he actually told me 43. So I told that to the 911 operator, and he actually started to go back to his car, and I was like, hey, yeah, stay right here. And the 911 operator said, hey, if he gets in his car, just let him go. He asked if he had weapons. I said no. I said, he just looks to be intoxicated, and that's what I told her.
Okay.
To the best of my recollection.
Okay.
And what would you, if you're the officer or you're the attorney and this is your witness, right? He's on the stand. What are some of the follow-up questions you're going to ask? Right
I would say, why did you think that he looked intoxicated? And then I would probably go through each, like, did you notice anything about his eyes, right? This is assuming this is a direct examination. Were they bloodshot? Were they watery? Were they droopy? Did you notice an odor of alcohol? Did you notice slurred speech or thick tongue? You already mentioned balance. Did you notice anything else about that while he was standing? Was he leaning against the car?
Mm-hmm. Just to get into, you're literally just getting into the details. The why did you, because that's a conclusion, right? He looked intoxicated. And you're just getting into the, how did you reach that conclusion?
Right.
At this point, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So, God? Yep. Yes? Okay. You weren't coerced in any way to give any statement? No? It's of your own free will?
Yep.
Okay, you put your hand down. Okay. What did you see while you were driving and you're heading westbound?
First of all, I noticed he was going slower than traffic, but he was swerving back and forth.
The blue SUV?
Yes, sir.
Blue Infinity SUV?
And I realized that. I just assumed he was on his phone like everybody else.
Okay.
Swerved halfway into my lane.
Okay.
I thought playing on his phone. I just kind of beeped at him, and he straightened up, and after that, it was just a explosion of parts and...
Okay, what did you see what happened? What do you mean an explosion of parts?
It sounded like a tire explosion, like on a semi-truck.
Okay.
And all I saw was red chunks, like, I don't know if it was the victim or...
What did he hit?
It was definitely the bike.
A person on a bicycle?
Yes.
Okay. Where was the person on the bicycle at?
He was on the bicycle lane.
In the bicycle lane?
Mm-hmm.
What happened after the blue Infinity struck the cyclist?
He did not stop. That moment I realized he was on something, because that's not a normal human reaction to any accident or incident.
Okay.
And then I saw the damage on the car and the bike laying off to the side on the rear view.
Okay.
He just stopped as soon as he came over here. It was really delayed, though. The driver got out to...
The driver of the Infinity got out?
Yes.
What did he do after he got out of the
vehicle? He was just kind of looking over his vehicle.
Okay.
And
did he say anything to you?
No, but when he hopped out, he stumbled.
Okay.
That's another...
So he stumbled like he was having a hard time walking? Did you do anything else or say anything else to him?
No, I didn't talk to the victim or the guy that drove the car.
Okay, so you didn't talk to anybody. He pulled over, you got behind him, you watched him get out, you stayed on the phone with dispatch.
Yep, I just stayed on the phone with him.
Okay. Run me through real quick what happened. Are you okay first off? Do you need a water or anything?
I'm all right. I have a water.
Okay, you got a water?
We had a horrible accident. I don't really know what happened.
Okay.
It was,
You don't know what happened?
No.
Okay. You were driving? Okay, you were the only person that was driving?
I was the only person that was
driving. Okay. Where were you heading to?
Heading home.
Heading home? Where were you coming from?
My work.
Your work? What do you do for work?
I'm an arms dealer.
Like firearms?
Yeah.
Okay. No weapons on you or anything, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
In reference to work, where is work exactly at?
Congress Avenue.
Congress Avenue?
Delray Beach.
Okay.
He seems like he's sobered up.
Yeah, he definitely is sobered up. Yeah.
Also, what do you think about giving him water?
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to cause the alcohol to metabolize faster, but you feel a little better, right?
Yeah.
After a water.
Yeah, unless these recordings are not in chronological order and like they already asked him about drinking and did fields prior to this. But yeah, it seems like a lot of time has passed and he's way better than he was when it was light out.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Not perfect still. I mean, I
No.
think he's still a little
Slurred speech.
Yeah, a little bit.
And you said there was an accident, but you don't know anything about the accident. You were the only person that was in the vehicle.
I was changing lanes from right to left, and I don't know what happened.
Okay. So you stopped here. Why did you stop here?
Or
how did you know that you had an accident?
I heard the crash and I stopped.
Do you have any medical ailments or anything?
No.
No? Were you at the doctor's office today or the dentist for anything? No? Do you take any medication for anything?
I take a lot of medication for
Are you
different things.
taking any medication right now?
I mean, I hate to give advice here as if like I'm giving advice to this guy, right? This driver, because he seems to me like he just killed someone, right? So I'm not trying to give advice. But we are attorneys and this is a criminal investigation. Is he better off just not saying anything?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. It's really hard to have any sympathy for him, but anybody who is listening, if you're in a situation of this magnitude, you need to protect yourself. Don't make any statements. Ask for your attorney and shut your mouth, because he may be thinking to himself that he's not saying anything incriminating, but him saying that he was on a bunch of medication is incriminating. Also, he just said he came from work. Are you drinking at work while you're selling firearms?
Right.
A. B, you're locking your defense attorney into a narrative that probably isn't true, and then they have a tough position to be in. Like, do I change the narrative, which affects your credibility, or stick to a story that probably doesn't make a ton of sense? Even being like, okay, where exactly do you work? Oh, back there. Well, it turns out you don't work back there.
Right.
Like, all of those things may seem innocent to him, but can cause problems for us defending you down the road.
Yep. The smallest little things can be seized upon. One thing I thought of, it's not a statement made by him, but one of the other witnesses said he got out and checked his car, right? I could see a prosecutor in opening, closing arguments at a trial making a huge deal about that one little thing, that this guy killed someone and he's more worried about the damage to his car than the body lying in the street. Right? You can hear that being said in court right there. I'm making the point that the smallest little thing that is not even on your radar at the moment can become a theme or a big, big problem for you when you're dealing with this in court.
Yeah, kind of like anything you do or say can and will be used against you.
Yes. So here, let me be clear. If this guy just says nothing at all and shuts up, I think he's still fucked.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think he's still getting convicted of some very serious criminal charges.
Yeah.
So I'm not giving advice on how to get out of that. That's sensationalizing this whole situation.
The way to get out of this is don't drink and drive.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. But there are some things that you can do to just limit the evidence that can and will be used against you in court. And the statements are a big one.
Are you taking any medication right now or on any medication right now?
I take medication daily.
Okay. What kind of medication?
I don't know. A few different things.
A lot of different things? Okay. Do
Yeah.
you drink socially?
Socially.
Have you had anything to drink today?
No.
No? Nothing? Okay. Did you take that medication today?
Yeah.
What time did you take that?
That's probable cause to believe that there is going to be evidence in your bloodstream that you were driving under the influence of alcohol, so that you committed that crime.
Yep. His words that I take a bunch of medications, I don't know what they are, right? That phrase will be in a search warrant presented to a judge who's signing off on it, right? And that's his statements right there. So I'm just quickly trying to tie together how his statements can and will be used against him.
I'm not trying to be difficult with you. I'm just,
Okay. Well, I understand. No, I noticed that you're kind of nodding a little bit and you're slowing your words.
This is crazy.
Okay.
This is all crazy.
I understand. I understand there's probably a lot going on.
I'm freaking out.
Okay.
There's a reason that on the side of the bottle it says don't operate heavy machinery. You can consume everything legally, everything that's prescribed to you, and still be driving under the influence. It's about whether or not you're intoxicated, not whether or not you consume the thing legally or illegally, right? Also, if he says, I took whatever he says, there may be a blood or urine test in the future here. And if that's in his system and he doesn't have a prescription, that's a different charge, right? Now he didn't consume that, assuming it's a controlled substance, that he didn't consume that legally. So there's sort of a whole web here that he's probably not aware of. Most people would not be aware of. So the only, if I were to give advice, the only real advice I can give is just don't make any statements.
Jason, so at this point, I've got you as the person that was operating the motor vehicle at the time of the crash, okay? The crash actually occurred, what was to say? Yeah, 3/4 of a mile, almost half a mile, 3/4 of a mile back down the road. And I have independent witnesses here that say that when the crash occurred, you made no attempt to stop and you continued westbound on Okeechobee, like you didn't even know that you were involved in a crash. And the reason that you stopped here was because a gentleman laid on his horn behind you and another gentleman got in front of you, and this is why you stopped, okay? And that was the only reason that you stopped, okay? So based on your driving pattern, based on your slurred speech, based on the fact that you don't recall the accident, you take medication, you don't know what kind of medication you've taken, at this point I'm going to ask you for a blood draw, okay? In order to determine if there's anything in your system which would make you an impaired driver, okay? So I'm asking, will you consent to that blood draw?
No.
You're not going to consent to that blood draw, okay? So because you're not going to consent to that blood draw, what we're going to do is I need you to step out of the car.
That was weird.
I think it's weird because they first didn't do fields.
Me too. I'm wondering if there isn't an odor of alcohol and they truly believe that he's only under the influence of drugs and if he's not a DRE, a drug recognition expert, because they are the only people, at least here in Illinois, that can conduct field sobriety tests to test for drugs as opposed to alcohol. They're different sets of tests. But I also don't think I would lay my case out on a silver platter for him and be like, we think you're under the influence of drugs. Do you want to prove it to us? No, that's weird. Okay, now you're under arrest.
Yeah, I mean, and the other tactic would be I don't know if you're okay to leave or drive home or whatever. Why don't you come over and do some of these tests? So yeah, a couple different tactics to take. One of them is I just want to make sure you're okay. Come do this real quick for me, right? Standard field sobriety test. We see that a lot. I think in this, the officer knows that he's going to get blood. I mean, I think he knew he was going to refuse, and he wanted to get that refusal stated very clearly because his very next step is that based on your refusal and my observations, I have to put you in handcuffs and you're going to wait while I go get this search warrant.
Yeah.
Nope. No? No. Okay. So, hang on for me real quick. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to walk over that medical rig. We are going to take your blood with or without your consent because you're involved in a crash that involved death. Okay? So, we're going to walk over to that medical rig and we're going to go do a blood draw. Take your hands out of your pockets for me.
Right. Don't worry about the door. Don't worry about the door. We got the door.
You walk with me. You got kits?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Interesting that they bring that there, huh?
Yeah, I mean, obviously they were already there.
Right.
But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, what the officer's talking about there is an implied consent law, right?
Because it's what we call type A injuries, because it's, an accident that resulted in serious bodily injury or death by statute, that warrants a surge to the level of forcibly taking the blood if necessary.
Collect your initial and then the date and the time on both of these. That way then I can just seal this up and be done. That way then I can just seal this up and be done.
Yeah, then the officer's going to take it himself.
Yep. One less person in the chain of custody.
Absolutely.
Yep. Because this officer, the one who's interviewed everybody, conducted this whole investigation, he's the one. Like, he is the person that will be needed in testifying. So he can testify to everything except the lab.
It's smart too, because this is now going to be whole blood. The lab tech who prepares the report is going to say his blood alcohol content is XYZ. Say it's 0.16, for example. And then the state just needs this officer to testify about what happened with, getting the blood. And then they need the lab tech.
Yep.
You probably need the phlebotomist too, but you don't need an expert to be able to testify about like a mathematical conversion from blood serum to whole blood and how that relates to the blood alcohol content. So you're cutting out one person, which is smart. Yeah, when you see all that, you're like, as long as they can get these people in, they have an ironclad case.
Yeah.
And in 6 months, I'll get a result.
What's the deal with
6 months? I think he's joking.
What's the deal with now when you guys get a warrant, we have to draw again? I never heard of that part.
So I don't think we're going to draw again. I think I'm just going to get a warrant as like a double you to this guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's facing 20 years to,
Yeah.
I mean, right now.
Right, yeah.
So, and if it's DUI man, which it's going to come back,
Yeah.
it's like 25 to life.
Yeah.
So,
If it's DUI what?
this guy's fucking done.
Yeah.
His entire life.
I'm sure I'll be seeing you in court.
Yeah, because he's the one who took the blood.
Yep. Just like you said.
At this point, before I ask you any questions, I'm going to read this to you, okay? So, I'm required to warn you before any statement that you have the following constitutional rights. Number one, you have the right to remain silent and not answer any questions. You understand, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, okay. You have the right to the presence of a lawyer of your choice before you make any statement and during questioning. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, okay. If you cannot afford a lawyer, you're entitled to the presence of a court-appointed lawyer before you make any statement and during any questioning. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Any statement can and may be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Any statement you make must be freely and voluntarily given. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, okay. If at any time during the interview you do not wish to answer any question, you are privileged to remain silent. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. You can make no threats or promises to induce you of a statement. This must be of your own free will. Do you understand?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
So, Kelly, why did those get read now and not before he gave some real evidence like his blood?
I would say because right now he's in custody, like they said that earlier when they put him in handcuffs after he refused, and he's also about to interrogate him.
Yes.
So he's like, before I interrogate you, I need to read you these rights.
And those rights, the Miranda rights, apply to statements that you make, whereas the blood is not a statement.
Correct.
I mean, it's certainly evidence, right?
Yeah.
But it is not a statement that is subject to Miranda.
Just like field sobriety tests are not a statement.
Yep, exactly.
Now that you understand your Miranda rights, do you want to talk to me about what happened at the accident?
I'd like to have a lawyer present.
Okay. You want a lawyer before you answer any questions?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. At that time, it's going to end my questioning.
All right, so Kelly, pretend we represent him, right? How did that officer, the one who led the investigation, how did he do? What's your grade for him?
I would say an A. He definitely kept his cool even with the defendant, and obviously that's something really hard to see. It's really hard to have sympathy for, like we were saying. I think the officer could have treated him badly and he didn't. I thought the officer did a really good job with the witnesses. I mean, it seemed like they asked them to stick around. They were there for a long time, gave statements. He did a great job at, I think, getting all the information out from all the witnesses. And their stories all added up and the defendants didn't, which I think will be really helpful for as far as like the driving. Like the defendant said he was in the middle lane. Nobody else said that. He had no recollection of why he even pulled over, and you have two people explaining like why and how he pulled over. All those little things I just thought were really helpful. He seemed like he knew the law. He knew he had the right to get that blood. He knew, about the chain of custody and all that kind of stuff. So I don't have anything bad to say. Yeah. He read a Miranda at the right time, it seemed. My only question was the fields. Maybe that part got cut out. If he didn't administer the fields, I would say that was a mistake, and maybe I'd mark him down to a B. But
Yep. Officer did a thorough investigation. It's hard to see this defendant outright beating this case absent some sort of technical thing that we didn't realize, like the blood draw becomes inadmissible because of some something we didn't see here, right? Or some other strange scenario. Like the officer can only control what he can control at that moment, and it seems to me like he conducted a pretty thorough investigation.
It also seemed like he was like the lead. Like he didn't seem like a lot of other officers' kind of hands were in the cookie jar,
Right. Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. He spent that. I mean, they waited for him, and then he was the one who interviewed all the witnesses, dealt with the defendant himself. Other than that initial that officer who first responded, just kind of put him in the car and let him sit there. I mean, they let this one guy do his thing, which is a smart, way to do it.
It's smart. There's a lot of continuity, same types of questions asked, same treatment received across the board. You have one witness at trial that conducted the investigation A to Z, who obviously knows what they're doing. Like this wasn't his first rodeo. It's kind of seemed like he was an expert, maybe not in the qualifying as an expert, but
yeah, he was major accidents or the equivalent of that, right? He has specialized training in this.
Yeah.
So then, in terms of the driver or the defendant in this case, we're going to refrain from giving a grade. The case may be ongoing out of respect for the victim. It's just not worth it. We gave you our commentary along the way.
All right, guys. Well, that is that video that was difficult for us to watch and kind of comment on. I'm sure it was for you guys too. We'd love to hear what you thought in the comments. I think the takeaway is take an Uber. Don't drink and drive. I mean, you just never, ever know what could happen.